All right, and joining me on the phone now, I am very excited to have this guest on. He is a consensus All-American Atlantic 10 Player of the Year, and he is up for the Malone Award, which will be announced on Tuesday, SportsCenter, ESPN, noon Eastern, a guy that I absolutely loved watching in college basketball this year. Obi Toppin is on the phone. My man, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on. First and foremost, I would just ask, I know you've probably been getting this question a lot lately, but how are you, your family, how's everybody holding up? I mean, I know you're originally from New York. I know we're based out of New York. It's kind of a scary time. How are you and your family holding up?
Everything is going good over here. Right now I'm in Jersey in a house with me and my brother and my girlfriend. We're here just quarantined, and we have a gym near us where me and my brother are going in and getting some one-on-one time and just working on things we need to work on to help us. So we're doing fine over here. The family's doing good. So
that is the first and most important thing. Really quick, I mentioned you are, in fact, up for the Malone Award, nation's top power forward. You've been named a National Player of the Year by other outlets, All-American, all the stuff that I mentioned. Just real quick, your story we'll get into in a minute, but, you were a guy that coming out of high school, you didn't have a lot of the hype of some of the guys that you'll be competing with in the NBA draft. How surreal has even just this last year been? You had a ton of success in your redshirt freshman year, but to go from a year ago where you're testing the draft waters, all that stuff, to where you are now, National Player of the Year, Dayton had a historic season. How surreal has the last year been for you?
It's definitely been like a dream for me. Like none of this feels real, but it's been amazing this whole season. My teammates and my coaches push me every single day to be the person and player that I am, and without those guys, I wouldn't be either the person or player that I am. So I get thanks and credit to all those guys. Number one, I really like to thank Jalen and Trey, because those guys they push me the most. And Jalen being my roommate and being my closest brother, he's definitely on my rear end all the time, trying to help me get better. So I get thanks to him all the time, and I love all of them.
For people who don't know, Jalen Crutcher and Trey Landers, two of your teammates at Dayton. Obi, I mentioned a minute ago, but you had kind of a surreal story. And for people who aren't familiar with your background, they're going to get familiar over these next couple months as we get ready for the NBA draft. But can you take us through kind of your journey? Because you were a guy, for people who don't know, I believe you were about 6'4" when you were a junior in high school. No Division I offers coming out of your senior year. Just take us through your journey, because it's an incredible story. It's been incredible to watch from a distance.
Yeah, so like you said, junior year I was a 6'4". I was mostly a point guard or shooting guard. I didn't get a lot of playing time my junior year because I just moved from Florida to New York, and they kind of already had a set team already when I got to Ossining High School. So I didn't get a lot of playing time. There were games that I didn't even play. But then that summer went by. I was playing games in the city park, like Rucker Park, Dykeman, Hoops in the Sun, all those type of parks. And when I went back for my senior year, I was around 6'5", 6'6"-ish, and I just started dunking. I caught my first dunk probably in my first game in my senior year of high school. And I went through that year averaging about 20, 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. But us being in the Hudson Valley, it didn't have a lot of college coaches coming through there, so it was hard for me to get looks from college coaches. So I was going to end up signing to a JUCO, Monroe College. But when I was about to sign at Monroe College, my uncle Victor Moneros, he said that he was going to put me into a prep school so that I don't have to waste any years going to a JUCO school. So I went to a prep school for a year. When I got there, I think I averaged around 16 to 18 points, 8 rebounds again, and 3 or 4 assists. And after prep school year, so many schools started to offer me, Dayton being one of them. And when I got to Dayton, it was just the community, the fans, the coaches, the players, everybody was just so welcoming, and it felt like home when I went on my visit there. So that's why I committed. So,
and I've read stories where as soon as you got off the plane in the airport, like people were asking for selfies, right? In Dayton.
Yeah, I was taking pictures with fans already, as if I already tried to go there. So
that's a pretty good indication of how crazy those fans are. One thing that I found really interesting is even when you get to Dayton, you did have to sit out for a year. And listen, I understand. Listen, everybody wants to play all that stuff. But you look at a guy, Malachi Flynn, who was an All-American this year, had to sit out last year as a transfer. You sat out your first year at Dayton. Do you think that year helped? I mean, I know you would have loved to play, but do you think it would have helped? Do you think it did help you to sit out that year?
Yes, most definitely. The way I looked at it, coming into Dayton, Coach told me there was a chance I would have to sit out a year because of academic reasons from high school. So I understood that, and I was like, all right, if I have to sit out, I'm gonna take it as I get another cheat year to get better. And everybody in my family and everybody who, like, all my teammates and other coaches were so supportive, and they helped me with the process. So when I was sitting out, I was doing extra time in the gym, extra time in the weight room, other than when I was with the team, so that I can get better and do more to help myself for next year. Sitting out, I was able to watch the other teams in our conference and other teams that Dayton was playing against, and I got a feel of what it will be like when I get on the court. So me being able to practice with the guys and getting a feel of kind of the tempo I need to get used to and the speed I gotta get used to, it was helping me for my sophomore year of college. Yeah, and that's what I took it as. I took it as another year to get better.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is I've talked to other players that say that not only do you get physically better, but mentally you get sharper because you can watch the game from a different angle. Is that something that you kind of noticed? Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Very good. Sophomore year, which was really your redshirt freshman year, you absolutely blow up. And you actually entered the NBA draft last year, and I would just be curious.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what did you learn from that experience? Because it was obviously you were a kid that maybe could have gotten drafted last year, but you decide to come back. You go through the process. You have workouts. What did you learn from that experience?
Going to those workouts, I worked out with 5 teams, 5 NBA teams. And going into the workouts, I kind of knew that I had a feel that I was going to come back to school, but I wanted to get a taste of what it's like at the next level.
Sure.
Also, I knew that going to the workouts, the coaches and the assistant coaches were going to give me feedback on things I would need to work on to help me for next year's draft. So, or that can help me for the next season, which was my redshirt sophomore season. And when I got all the feedback right away during the summer, I was working out on all the stuff that they said I needed to work on. So as soon as the season came, it was like boom. They told me I need to have better shot consistency. I need to make sure my percentages are good. They said I need to get more rebounds. I need to make sure I get 8 to 10 rebounds a game. So it was different things that I needed to work on that the NBA team said, and that's what I did.
Could you feel yourself getting better over last summer? Because it was obviously a monumental leap that you made this year.
Definitely, just because my teammates were saying that they could see it. So when they were telling me they could see it, and they were saying it was easy, it was starting to get easier playing with me because the game started to slow down for me. And when I caught the ball, I'll always look and not just rush to try and do something. I'll take my time. I'll see if there's a man open. If not, I'm gonna start backing my man down and doing things to help my team win, and it wasn't only for me. So I feel like going through the process, it helped me slow my game down so that I can make better reads.
So when you decided to come back, I found this quote from your mom who was interviewed about the process, and she said, "I hope he makes the right choice and goes back to school. He has grown so much this year, but he still has a little more growth to do. He has a lot more game that is going to come out, and when you think about the team they're going to have next year, it's going to be something. He'll grow even more on the court and off, and I think this is the perfect place to do it." I mean, can your mom, does she have a crystal ball or what, man? What? That is incredible.
I don't know, but it's like she knew. It's like she knew that if I go back to school, it'd be better for me. But it showed, like, when I got back to school, everything started to click for myself and the team, and everybody was just bought into what the coaches were asking, and we just had a tremendous season, and it was amazing.
And when did you know? I mean, you go through summer workouts, you feel like you're getting better, your teammates are telling you. When did you know things are different for the Dayton Flyers? We have a chance to do something real special this year.
Honestly, when I found out was when we had our first conditioning and on-court workout during the summer. The amount of focus and grit that everybody had doing the workout and doing the conditioning, it was amazing. Like, everybody knew that, this can be a special year if we put in the work. So, like, when we was on the court, coaches drawing up plays, and everybody's just eyes on coach, eyes on the board, and it was amazing seeing all, like, the amount of focus that everybody had from the jump. And I knew from there it was just going to be a scary season.
Well, and I was going to say, what about Maui? I mean, Maui seemed like the jumping off point for you guys. Go ahead, my man.
Definitely Maui. I was gonna talk about that. When we got to Maui, it was ridiculous how focused we were. First game, Georgia, I remember sitting in the media timeout, and I think we just went on like a 11 to 12-0 run. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting there, and I'm looking, and everybody is just focused. Like, like the crowd was going crazy because we have amazing fans. But even the people who were sitting out down to the walk-ons, everybody was just huddled up, looking at the board, looking at coach, listening closely to what we have to do to continue to dominate. And it was amazing seeing that all the way up to the Kansas game. And even though we lost the Kansas game, we came out of there knowing that we can be a really special team, and it showed for the rest of the season.
Well, and that's exactly what I was going to ask. Is Kansas at the time, we didn't know that they, like you guys, would go on to this incredible season, but it is still a power conference school. It is one of the best programs year in and year out. Yes. Even though you lost and it was in overtime, did that give you guys confidence going into the rest of the season?
Yes, definitely. Kansas being the number one team in the country and being known, like they have history, playing against Kansas, playing against Bill Self. It was just like we knew that if we can take Kansas to the neck and play them in overtime in Maui, it was going to be a special season. Just because not a lot of people play Kansas and play them how we played them. They like, I talk to a lot of Kansas players all the time, and they say, like, we were one of the hardest teams they played this year. And from a Kansas player, a Kansas coach saying that, it really means a lot. Like, we put in a lot of work to deserve what we did this season, and it was amazing.
So I want to talk about the end of the season in a minute. Anything else from the regular season, and we'll get to the A10 tournament and how everything ended, but anything else that really stands out? I mean, you guys were just such a fun team night in, night out.
Yep.
That was the thing that kind of stood out to me as just an outside observer, was you guys brought it every single night, and I don't think people appreciate how hard it is for a group of guys 18 to 21 years old. But I mean, when you look back outside of the ending, what stands out from the regular season?
First of all, it's definitely not easy winning. You definitely got to put in the work. But what stood out to me was, like, we had two really good leaders. First of all, everybody on our team was a leader. So don't get me wrong when I say our leaders, but like Trey and Ryan definitely had the main voices on the team. those two guys led our team to every single win, and they're basically our glue guys. Without those guys on the court, I don't think we'll accomplish anything that we accomplished this season. Just because those guys do the dirty work. Brian being a plus minus guy, his mindset is set to, I always have to be in the plus. I can never be a minus. So he's gonna make sure he never turns the ball over. He always gets assists. He always gets a point. Like, he's gonna make sure our team is doing the right thing. Always. And Trey, he's just the bulldog of our team. Like, he's always he's always doing the dirty work. Whether that's diving on the floor for a loose ball, or even getting like rebounds that we really need down in the stretch. So it's like those two guys right there. I gotta give a lot of credit to those two, because without them, we wouldn't be the team that we are.
What was the end of the season like? Because for people who don't know, you guys were one of the few teams. You didn't open your conference tournament until Friday, so it wasn't as though you were getting ready to play and you were pulled off the court or you had played the night before. You guys were one of the few teams that kind of watched it from a distance. Take us through that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as the season, unfortunately, and it was unfortunate for a lot of teams, but did come to an end.
Yeah, so we practiced Monday, Tuesday, and got on the plane Wednesday. And we knew that we was going to practice on Thursday we was going to practice Thursday and like know the team that we was going to play. It was either going to be UMass or BCU. And we was in the hotel the night before, and we're just sitting there like, we seeing all these tweets coming out that there's tournaments getting canceled, and we're praying that ours don't get canceled. Mm-hmm. And Wednesday night, when Coach called for a meeting, we kind of knew what it was, and he had tears in his eyes. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we all seen that, we knew that it was over. And it was just crazy how everybody in the room just went silent, and it was crazy. And Coach just said, we gotta get on the plane Thursday afternoon and head back to Dayton. The season's over. And once he said that, it was just like, wow, all the things that we did this year, and they just want to end it like that. So it was just, it was definitely a heartbreak. But things happen, and we just got to be grateful for what we accomplished this year. So.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. What was his message? Was it simply be proud of what was the message that he delivered to you guys?
The message that he told us was basically like, he's super proud of us. From day one, he knew how special we can be. He loves every single one of us. He wants nothing but the best from every single one of us. And we just all gathered in a circle, and we do this thing that at the end of practice or games or anything, we say, let us be grateful while we're holding hands in a circle. And we just all say what we're grateful for. Oh. And at the end of the day, we was all in tears, but we said what we was grateful for, and we had to say our goodbyes and basically go our separate ways, because they ended up shutting schools down, and nobody can be on campus. So from there, it was crazy how everything was going.
Yeah, I know everybody says, there are bigger things, and there are, and we all understand the severity of what's going on. But how disappointing is it for you that group, your brothers, like you said, that you guys didn't get that chance to compete for a championship? Not because you would have won or because you would have lost, but because we'll never know the actual outcome.
It was definitely disappointing, just because I know, like, everybody on our team dreams of playing in the tournament. Playing in the tournament it's like you don't get those chances a lot, and definitely being in the A10, doing what we accomplished this year, like not a lot of teams can say that they went into their conference and went undefeated and dominated a conference like that. Us doing what we did this year, going undefeated, taking Kansas down to the stretch, Colorado down to the stretch, losing to them in overtime. And just beating every team, like dominating every single game, like we knew that we was a really special team, and for it to end the way that it ended, it was definitely upsetting. But like Jalen, Trey, Ryan, like especially Trey and Ryan, just because it was their senior year, like I knew it was hard for them the most, just because like it was their senior year and it was their year to prove to everybody that they deserve to be in the talk with everybody else. And for it to end like that, we had something to prove when we got to the tournament, and for it to end like that, it was bad. But we still got to be grateful.
Yeah, well, and that was what I was going to ask you, is there was so much talk throughout the season. This team plays in the A-10. That team, they won 30 games, but quote-unquote, who did they beat? What would you say to a fan of another school that said, yeah, Dayton, they had a nice season. They couldn't have won the tournament. What would you say to that fan?
Honestly, I wouldn't even say anything, just because, like, I knew the team that we were. Like, we don't have to explain to someone who's a fan. You know what I mean? Fans always talk, whether it's our fans or another fan. Like, fans are going to be fans. But inside of the basketball lines, like, other teams knew that how dangerous we were and how special of a team we were. Coaches were talking about us. Players were talking about us. A lot of media was talking about us. So, like, for a fan to say something like, we don't really encourage or pay attention to what a lot of fans say, just because, like, fans are going to be fans, like, whether it's our fans or other people's fans. So we just knew the team that we were, and we proved a lot, and we get to prove in the tournament, but we proved a lot before that.
Fan is short for fanatic, and so yes, like you said, fans will say anything. Real quick, couple quick questions, we'll let you go. How is the draft prep process going? Just because it's such a surreal time, like you said, you can't be in the gym with more than your brother. But what are you actually doing to prep for the draft? And have you heard anything about what this process may look like? Because there's so many people that are kind of asking so many questions right now.
So I haven't heard about anything about the draft stuff, but I'm working with my agency. I just signed with an agency, CAA Sports, and they're giving me workouts that I can do. I have a gym near me, and they're giving me things that I can work on to get better weight wise and skill wise on the court. So they're giving me workouts. They're giving me enough things to help me for when the time comes for me to get back on the court. I'll be ready. So that's how I'm spending my days every single day from now on.
And how have you had the chance? I would assume yet you probably, outside of the teams that you met with last year, you probably don't have a ton of correspondence with NBA personnel. Is there anything that when you did this last year and you used this opportunity to your advantage, what are you hoping to impress upon people? Because I think there is a realistic shot, as crazy as it sounds, that you might end up being the number one pick in this draft, my man.
Honestly, I'm really going into workouts just being myself, being the person and player that I am. I feel like that shows a lot. I'm a very respectful person and joyful person, and my personality can help me go a long way. And like what happens on the court is like I'm just gonna be the player that I am. Like I'm never gonna do something that is out of character. Like I know what I'm good at, and I know the things that I'm not good at. So I'm not gonna put myself in situations to do bad. So I'm always gonna do what's gonna help me, and the people around me are gonna do or is gonna help me with that. So,
does seeing somebody like John Morant, who had a unique path in his own right, and the success that he had in the NBA, does that help you or make you feel at ease at all? That I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be able to handle this. Ja went through something similar last year, smaller school, and he's having a ton of success.
Yeah, definitely. John Morant is an amazing player. In college, he was also an amazing player. Myself, like, I feel like if I like have the same mentality that John had, I'm gonna go into the NBA perfectly fine. I have to go in there and start a whole new life again. Just like I was a freshman in high school, freshman in college, and now basically I'm a freshman in the NBA. So I got to go in there willing to learn, willing to get better, and willing to do whatever I can to help whatever team I play for win. And so that's the mindset that I need to go into this league, and I feel like wherever I go, I'm gonna have help with that. So.
Absolute last question, I'll let you go, and I so appreciate the time. Remember, Obi Toppin up for the Karl Malone Award, which is going to be announced Tuesday on SportsCenter. Pretend I'm an NBA GM. Explain to me why, and this is no disrespect to any of the other players that you're competing with, explain to me why you believe Obi Toppin should be the number one pick in the 2020 NBA draft.
I just feel like I put in a lot of work this season with myself and the team to accomplish what we accomplished. Me being on a team that was in the A-10 and going to be number 3 in the country, that proves a lot. Helping a team or leading a team to doing what we did this season, is a lot. And a team from the A-10 doesn't always get a lot of credit, and bringing a lot of credit to the A-10 was really good. But I have to give credit to my teammates also, because without them I wouldn't do anything. So I give credit to them too. But having all that is amazing. Helping the team go undefeated in our conference is also another good pointer. So I just feel like with what I did this season, with what my team did this season, I feel that I deserve that award.
He is up for the Karl Malone Award for the best power forward in college basketball, as well as the Wooden Award for the Nation's Player of the Year, consensus All-American. Obi Toppin, dude, it was a pleasure not only speaking with you, but watching you all season long, man. And I sincerely mean I wish you the best at the next level, but best of luck.
Yes,
and you left a lot of great memories, not only for Dayton fans, but for those of us that got to watch you guys all season long.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.